But so if we would have got 733 and then looked at that code, and let's see if it took us to the right page. And on 733, it asks if the flowers were yellow. Yes, and they are. Are they dandelion flowers? Do those look like dandelions? No, those look more like daisy or astrolite type flowers. Do they have a dark central disc? No, the flowers with a yellow or green center. Yep. Are the flower heads or flowers an inch or more wide? They kind of look like they're more than an inch wide. So let's see, and that says 376 is where we should go, is what this tells you. So let's see if it got it right. And it does. And so in 376, which is, you can't see the actual page numbers very well, but it is 376. And we look at our flower, we see we've got wing stem right there. There's our wing stem, and then when you read about it right there, it talks about the rays and the flowers and stuff, so it describes it for you. And that's how the Newcomb's Guide works, as opposed to using a key. So it's got a few distinguishing characteristics, takes you to a flower, to a group locator, and then sends you into the book when you're using it.
It's funny because wing stem is so easily identified by the wings.
I know, and that's not, and that they'll talk about it here, but that's no part of the description of it. So yeah, like if we were to walk out there, you'll see, oh yeah, there's wing stem because it's got the wings on that stem right there. Okay, and this one we won't do. So. But that was lobelia. The last thing I wanted to share with you all is, does anybody use iNaturalist? Okay, good. Some of you, so you've already got it on probably got it on your phones. Have any of you used it successfully, do you think? Okay. Sometimes, right. That's what, now when up at the Arboretum last Friday, we were successful using it. Everything we hit, it identified them. But I know I've used it a few times and it doesn't begin to come up with what I'm looking at. But it is a free app. You can download it onto your phone. Just you look in your app store for iNaturalist. It also has a website too, so you can sign up and do all this stuff on their website as well. But it allows you to record your observations, and you can share those with fellow naturalists, so that if we go out here tonight and click, we actually take a picture of what we're trying to figure out what it is, and then you want to find out about it. Ask you a few questions, and then it'll give you a list of 5, maybe 10 possibilities, and you look at this photograph. Does it match what I'm looking at? If it does, then you click that's it, and then you can hit share, and it's going to drop a pin right where you're standing on a great big map. And it'll let somebody else know that they can go find iron, wing stem out here, or a white oak right out here outside of this building. If they were to come out here, go ahead.
Do you know if they use this kind of code, or they have artificial intelligence based system to recognize that?
If they use what now?
This kind of coding to find out what it is, or?
I don't know about the coding on it. It's a really powerful system they've got going and trying to figure out that they can go based on this picture. Do you know? Good.
It relies on volunteers, but a lot of professionals do key it. And I volunteer at Bernheim, and last Saturday they just had Bug Fest. So the week prior to, a lot of the volunteer naturalists went out and had a bio blitz.
Oh yeah, and that's what these are good for.
A whole team of us, and we just scattered and took pictures of everything. And then we used that to help us put together presentations for the Bug Fest at Bernheim. But if you key it, if you think it's like in the flower family or whatever, then there's things that helps you cheat to get more accurate responses back from the community out there.
And people will comment on it. Like, I get comments and stuff. So if they agree with you, they'll comment that. If they disagree with you, they'll
like, that's not what that is.
Nope, that's all right.
And so it is. It's a form of citizen science. We're all out here collecting data right now for at some point in time, somebody may use this. They might be able to use this. So it's just one of those forms of citizen science, much like if you do birding and you do eBird, and you're out doing bird counts and you submit your data. That's another form of citizen science. I find this has been useful when I work with youth. Tend to, it kind of incorporates a little bit of technology that they're very familiar with, but we're doing something that's more of a learning opportunity with them as well. And they're like, cool, man, look, that's my, I dropped that pin there, I found that plant or whatever. It doesn't have to be plants either. So I had students on campus this summer, and they were doing different types of fungus. They were looking at caterpillars. They were doing insects. A couple of them were looking after birds, taking their phones and snapping birds up. A cat. So he has a cat on this one.
People.
Yeah. So all kinds of things can be recorded and shared with other naturalists. And like I said, it works on all devices. If you go to the App Store, you can download it, and it is free if you like doing that kind of thing. I thought we'd try one or two. Go ahead.
Was it one of our agents, Eric Conley?
Yes.
He does a lot of photographs, and so he actually uses it when he goes to a certain area. He'll use on naturalists to see what other people have found around, to give him an idea of what he might go and photograph. So instead of just also collecting data, it might help you too if you're going someplace and you want to see what
It's a
other
red
people may
flag.
have found.
Cool.
It may help you if you want to identify stuff that's of interest.
Which is what I use eBird for, because I bird. So I go, if I'm going someplace, I'll go and see who's seen what most recently, which is how I can sometimes get a new species. I know where to go look for it. But I also like to contribute as well. So this just another way of another tool to help you identify stuff. And I was thinking, why don't we go out and then we might come back in and do this, because we're going to get a little warm. We'll come back in, do this, and then you all will have evaluations and stuff to fill out as well. So.
The sun was set on just a little more.
Right. Go ahead. Did you? Oh, did it tell you what this is?
It's kind of fun to hear back here. It's not like
That was easy.
As long as it does it, what it's hard is it doesn't come up with it. And you're like, that's not what this is. I know that's not what this is. But the flowers, it worked